A homeless girl found a billionaire's missing wallet. But what happened next no one expected. Not even the billionaire who owned it. Not the crowded city that ignored her, and certainly not the girl whose entire life had been built on loss, silence, and survival. She had nothing. No home, no family, no protection, just worn shoes, an empty stomach, and memories of a father who vanished without explanation. But the wallet she found did not belong to an ordinary man. It belonged to a billionaire, powerful, untouchable, a man whose name stood on skyscrapers and controlled fortunes bigger than entire neighborhoods. And inside that missing wallet was something that didn't just prove his wealth, it exposed a hidden connection to her past. A connection that should have been impossible. A homeless girl. A billionaire's missing wallet. One moment of discovery that rewrote everything. But why would a billionaire carry something linked to a girl who had nothing? Why did his expression change the instant he saw her face? And what secret inside that wallet was never meant to be found, especially by her? Because returning the wallet should have ended the story. But it was only the beginning. Harbor Square never truly rested, it only changed rhythm. By noon, sunlight spilled across polished stone walkways and glass storefronts, reflecting wealth in sharp flashes that never quite reached the corners where people like Lily Bennett existed. The city moved around her the way water moved around a stone, adjusting without acknowledging. She sat on the crooked green bench near the fountain, the one with peeling paint and a slight tilt that forced anyone who cared about comfort to choose somewhere else. She preferred it. A tilted bench meant fewer interruptions. Her hands rested in her oversized coat pockets, fingers curled around nothing. Hunger had long passed the sharp stage and settled into something dull and constant, like background noise inside her body. She watched shoes instead of faces. Expensive leather meant confidence. Fast heels meant urgency. Slow dragging solace meant exhaustion. Her father once told her people revealed more from the ground up than the head down. He used to steady machinery that way too, starting from what bore the weight. A memory flickered, warm lamplight, scattered blueprints, the quiet hum of tools, his steady hands assembling tiny metal parts, the smell of oil and heated steel, the strange calm that surrounded him when he worked. Then the memory snapped away, replaced by the present. Something brushed her. Soft, solid, heavy enough to matter. She looked down. A wallet rested against her boot, dark leather catching sunlight in smooth, unbroken lines. It looked untouched by struggle, an object that belonged in controlled environments, not on public pavement. She scanned the square. No one searching. No raised voices. No panic. Her father's voice echoed in memory, calm, instructive. If something valuable is unguarded, assume someone important will come looking. She should have left it. But a faint vibration pulsed through the leather, steady, mechanical, alive. Her fingers hovered, then closed around it. Warm. Recently held. She opened it slowly. Crisp bills arranged with surgical precision. Cards black as polished stone. Silver lettering engraved rather than printed. The quiet weight of power compressed into stitched leather. Then she saw the name. Victor Hale. Even Lily, who owned nothing, followed nothing, belonged nowhere, knew that name. His buildings reshaped skylines. His projects appeared on news screens visible through shop windows she wasn't allowed to enter. Why would someone like him walk through Harbor Square without protection? Her thumb brushed a hidden sleeve. Something slipped loose, a photograph. Two men standing side by side, laughing mid-conversation. Younger, relaxed, unarmored by status or time. One was unmistakable, the billionaire. The other. Her breath stopped. Her father, Daniel Bennett. Grease stain on his sleeve. Same thoughtful eyes. Same posture, slightly angled forward like he was always leaning towards solving something unseen. Her pulse hammered. He never spoke about powerful friends. Never mentioned wealthy partners. Never explained the late-night phone calls that stopped when she entered the room. Another memory surged forward, sharper this time. Her father sealing a thin metal cylinder, tightening it carefully before threading it onto a chain around her neck. Keep this with you, always. Is it important? A long pause. It will be. One day. Back in the square. Lily's fingers trembled around the photo. The wallet vibrated again. Footsteps approached, measured, controlled, deliberate. They stopped directly in front of her. A shadow fell across her hands. Miss, a deep voice said quietly, steady but edged with restrained urgency, that belongs to me. She lifted her head slowly. The man standing before her matched the photograph, older now, sharper, carrying the invisible gravity of someone accustomed to command. But he wasn't. Looking at the wallet, his eyes were locked on the small metal cylinder hanging from her necklace. His expression changed, not polite. Recognition. Shock. The kind that cracks something buried for years. His voice dropped almost to a whisper. Where did you get that? And for the first time in 6 years, someone was looking at Lily Bennett like she was not invisible, like she was the answer to a question he had never stopped asking. The man's gaze lingered on the necklace. Lily instinctively touched it, like a shield, like it could make him vanish if she held it close enough. I don't know how it ended up there, she said, voice barely above the hum of the city. I found your wallet, just lying on the ground. Victor Hawley's eyes, dark and calculating, narrowed slightly, but there was something else beneath the surface, an echo of a memory he hadn't expected to resurface. He knelt slightly, lowering his height so the world wouldn't feel like it pressed down on her. Your father, Daniel Bennett, he asked quietly, almost a whisper meant only for her ears. Her stomach twisted. Her pulse hammered against ribs that had gone too long without enough food. He's gone, she said, voice breaking. 6 years now. Everyone says he died. I don't know. Her words trailed off, swallowed by the breeze that swept across Harbor Square. Victor's face hardened, but a shadow of guilt flickered across his sharp features. I thought I'd lost track of him, he admitted softly, voice low enough that passers-by wouldn't notice. I tried. I searched for years, but then, he disappeared. His jaw clenched, and I never understood why. Until now. Lily's fingers tightened around the photograph in her hand. The image of her father, smiling beside Victor in a casual moment frozen on paper, burned in her chest. She remembered the nights he worked late, blueprints scattered across the kitchen table, murmuring numbers under his breath, eyes reflecting the glow of lamps and dreams too big for their small apartment. She remembered him sealing a small cylinder, threading it onto her neck, and telling her that one day she would understand its purpose. Victor studied her closely. His mind raced back years, to the collapsing shipyard where a young engineer nearly lost his life, saved by a man he had trusted only briefly. Daniel Bennett, the same man who had vanished before Victor could reward him. The same man who left no trail, no note, nothing, except this girl, carrying a tiny piece of his legacy. He looked at her again, noting the heart and survival in her gaze. She had no riches, no title, yet there was something inherited in her stance, something deliberate in the way she held herself despite everything. A spark of intelligence, of resolve, that mirrored Daniel Bennett perfectly. I need to know, Victor said carefully. Did he leave you anything else? Anything at all? Lily's mind flickered to the necklace. The cylinder, her father's voice echoing. Keep this with you, always. She swallowed. This, she said, raising it slightly between them. He told me to keep it. He said it would be important one day. I never understood why. Victor's eyes widened slightly, recognizing the craftsmanship, the precision. His fatherly instincts, or maybe the part of him that had never stopped chasing Daniel Bennett, stirred uneasily. He could feel the weight of the past pressing down, the same weight that had been crushing him silently for years. This girl, this homeless girl, she held the proof of something larger than both of them, something dangerous. A sudden thought crossed Lily's mind. Why had her father been so secretive? Why had he disappeared, leaving her alone? She had lived on scraps, behind cold walls, surviving only because of memories that now felt like riddles. Victor noticed the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. You don't understand yet, he said softly, almost to himself. But you will. Then he paused, a sudden awareness striking him like lightning. The wallet. She found the wallet. It was never meant to be found by anyone but her. And in that moment, the air around them seemed to hold its breath, as if the city itself waited to see what would happen next. Victor Hale, billionaire, master of empires, was staring at a homeless girl, and for the first time in decades, he realized that power meant nothing without the right person holding the truth. Lily met his gaze. Who are you really? She asked, her voice trembling. Victor didn't answer immediately. He only stared at her, the memory of her father, the wallet, the lost years all pressing on him. His mind raced, connecting threads he had long ignored. Realizing that the moment she had picked up that wallet had already rewritten everything, he finally spoke, low and deliberate. I'm the man your father saved. And now, it seems, he saved you too. This scene deepens both characters' backstories, foreshadows the hidden legacy of Daniel Bennett, and escalates suspense with dialogue and emotion, leaving a strong curiosity gap about what the wallet truly contains. Victor Hale led Lily through a narrow side street to a quiet building tucked behind glass towers, a small engineering lab he kept for personal work, away from the glare of the media and public scrutiny. The scent of machine oil and metal greeted her immediately, mingling strangely with the lingering aroma of paper and coffee. "Wait here," Victor said, his voice low, commanding but cautious. He moved to a secure cabinet, removing a small device that hummed faintly in his hands. He turned to her, eyes softening for a brief moment. "Your father." He was meticulous. He embedded his work in ways no one could guess. Even I, with all my resources, never fully understood him. Lily's mind reeled. Memories returned in flashes. Her father hunched over tiny circuits in their cramped apartment, muttering to himself about codes and patterns that made no sense to her then, yet carried an undeniable rhythm of intention. I always wondered why he was so secretive," she said, voice trembling. "Why he left me alone. Why he didn't explain anything." Victor's gaze softened but remained intense. "Because he trusted you. That's why. He always said the right person might come along. And in his mind, that person was you." He gestured toward the wallet lying on the metal table between them. "And now, we have to see what he left behind." Hands shaking, Lily opened the wallet again. Victor observed closely, noting how her fingers lingered over each card, each crease in the leather. "Look carefully," he said. "Some things are obvious, but the most important things are hidden in plain sight." Her eyes flicked to a small compartment she had missed before, a hidden slot at the very edge of the wallet. Inside, there were microfilm strips, tiny etchings on metal sheets, each coded with symbols she didn't recognize. Her father had turned these into miniature puzzles, layered in ways that only someone who understood him could decode. Victor's eyes darkened. He wasn't just protecting data. He was protecting lives. Every structure he touched, every report he submitted. He discovered corruption. Dangerous corruption. People would kill to bury it. Lily's pulse raced. But why hide it in a wallet? Why? "Leave it with me?" Victor moved closer, lowering his voice. "Because he knew the moment would come. He always trusted that you would survive long enough to carry this forward. And I think he predicted the man who would come looking for it. Someone who would exploit it if it fell into the wrong hands." Her gaze hardened. "Someone wants this. And I have it." Victor nodded slowly. "Yes. And that's why we must be careful. There are people who still control pieces of the puzzle. People who would stop at nothing to recover this. And to silence anyone who knows." A sudden flashback gripped Lily, her father whispering late at night, locking cabinets, securing tiny circuits, and muttering names of people she had never met, names that now sounded like warnings. "Trust only the one who will understand," he had said. "The world is too blind for this truth." Victor reached for her hand, gentle but firm. "Your father never just saved me in that shipyard. He protected everyone he could, and now, he protected you. That wallet, this necklace. It's more than money or secrets. It's the blueprint of his legacy. And it's dangerous." Lily swallowed, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing down. "Then, what do we do now?" Victor's voice dropped to a whisper, almost reverent. "We unlock it, piece by piece. But we move carefully, because some truths, once exposed, can't be contained. People will try to stop us. They will come for you." Her heart pounded, but a strange clarity settled over her. She touched the necklace again, feeling the weight of her father's intention. "I'm ready," she said, though uncertainty lingered in her eyes. Victor's lips pressed together. "I hoped you would be, because the moment you hold that truth, the world changes, and not everyone will survive the revelation." Outside, the city carried on, oblivious to the two figures inside the quiet lab, holding the secrets of a missing engineer, a powerful billionaire, and the homeless girl who unknowingly held the key to all their fates. Victor Hale watched as Lily carefully laid the contents of the wallet on the metal table. Each card, each strip of microfilm, each tiny metal etching was placed with precision, as if arranging pieces of a puzzle only her father could have designed. She had inherited his meticulousness without realizing it. "Look at this," Victor said softly, pointing to a series of micro-etched symbols on a metal strip. "These aren't just codes. They're a map of decisions, approvals, and failures. Daniel Bennett discovered discrepancies in projects that should have been flawless, and he hid them in plain sight." Lily's fingers trembled as she traced the etched lines. A memory flashed unbidden, her father sitting cross-legged on the kitchen floor, wires scattered around him, muttering about hidden faults and secrets no one should know. "One day, you'll see why it matters," he had said. eyes bright with urgency. Even small details can protect thousands of lives. But why? Why would anyone want to hide this? Lily asked, her voice catching. He was just an engineer. Victor's eyes darkened. Not just an engineer. A man who refused to compromise on safety, even when the cost was dangerous. He discovered corruption in structures, in contracts, in people who thought power gave them immunity. He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. And some of them are still out there. A sudden metallic click echoed through the lab as Lily opened a hidden compartment inside the wallet she had never noticed. Inside was a small flash drive, etched with a symbol she recognized from her father's blueprints, the same symbol he had used when leaving her tiny clues, guiding her without words. Victor's breath caught. That symbol. He only used it when he wanted someone to understand without being told directly. He trusted you to recognize it. Lily's pulse quickened. But I don't know what any of this means. I'm just a girl who lived on the street. Victor leaned closer, his voice low but urgent. You are more than that. Your father prepared you for this. Look at how carefully he designed every piece, every card, every symbol, every hidden pocket. It wasn't luck. It was strategy. Her eyes fell on another strip of metal etched with tiny diagrams of bridge supports, structural beams, and financial notations. The complexity of it made her dizzy, but a strange familiarity settled in her mind. She remembered sitting beside her father as he worked, watching him trace lines on paper, feeling the weight of his obsession without understanding it. Now, pieces of the puzzle clicked into place. Victor observed her, noting the shift in her demeanor. The moment raw survival transformed into comprehension. These documents, he said carefully, they're proof. Proof of the flaws, the cover-ups, the lies, and proof powerful enough to bring down the people who destroyed your father's life. A cold shiver ran through Lily. Destroyed him, her voice shook. The memory of being left alone, evicted, invisible, rushed in, the nights on cold concrete, the hunger gnawing at her bones, the uncertainty that had defined 6 years of her life. Victor's gaze softened. Yes, he was silenced because he refused to stay silent. And now, you hold what he left behind. You hold the key to justice. A sudden noise outside made both of them tense. The city's normal chaos suddenly felt ominous. Victor's instincts sharpened, honed over decades of power and danger. They're watching, he whispered. Not you specifically, yet, but someone knows these documents exist. Someone wants them gone. Lily gripped the necklace again. I always thought it was just a keepsake, a reminder of him. I didn't know. Victor shook his head. It was never just a keepsake. It was a message, a responsibility. He prepared you for this day, even when you had no idea what was coming. And now, he paused, letting the silence weigh heavy. We have to decide how to use it, carefully, strategically, because the wrong move. And the people who killed your father could come for you next. Lily swallowed hard, the enormity of the legacy pressing down on her. The weight of 6 years of invisibility, hardship, and survival now transformed into something tangible, dangerous, vital, and inescapable. She met Victor's eyes, determination slowly replacing fear. Then we do it right. We finish what he started. Victor nodded slowly, a shadow of relief and awe crossing his face. Yes, but remember, even the smallest misstep can change everything. Some truths, once revealed, cannot be hidden again. Outside, the city hummed with oblivion, unaware that two people, connected by blood, loyalty, and courage, were standing on the edge of secrets that could rewrite lives, destroy empires, and finally reveal the truth Daniel Bennett had died protecting. The quiet hum of the lab was suddenly broken by the faintest sound of footsteps echoing against the metal stairwell outside. Lily froze, her fingers clutching the necklace, her heartbeat thundering in her ears. Victor's eyes narrowed, a hard edge sharpening his usually composed expression. They found a way to track us, he said, low and urgent. Not yet inside, but they're close. Lily's breath caught. Who are they? Victor stepped closer, his hand brushing against hers for reassurance. People who never wanted your father's work exposed. People who operate in shadows, hiding in plain sight. Powerful people who would kill to keep this secret buried. A memory flashed in Lily's mind. Her father, sitting at their tiny kitchen table, whispering into a dim phone. His eyes darted around the room, then back at her. Never let them see you as ordinary. Never let them underestimate you. One day, you'll understand why I prepared you this way. She had laughed back then, thinking it was just his usual paranoia. Now, every word made sense, Every warning painfully clear. Victor gestured to the wallet, lying open on the table. This contains more than blueprints and financial discrepancies. It contains the names of people involved in the cover-ups. People who have already destroyed lives to stay hidden. And now that it's in your hands, they will come for it. They will come for you. Lily's eyes widened. But I'm just a girl from the streets. How could they even know I exist? Victor's gaze softened, almost imperceptibly, as he studied her. You think your survival made you invisible, but in reality, your father made you invisible. Cleverly, strategically. That necklace, the wallet, the clues. He trusted you to remain unseen until the right moment. And now, that moment is here. A sudden flashback surged forward. Daniel Bennett kneeling before a cabinet, carefully placing the tiny cylinder into her necklace chain. You'll need this, he whispered. When the world comes for the truth, you'll understand its power. You're the only one who can carry it safely. The footsteps outside grew louder. Lily instinctively moved closer to Victor, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. What do we do? She whispered. Victor's eyes hardened. We act carefully. Every move from now on is calculated. They won't stop, and they won't negotiate. But we can use their arrogance against them. Your father prepared for this. He left pieces of a map, and we follow it, piece by piece. Lily's hand trembled as she opened another hidden compartment in the wallet. Inside, she found a small, encrypted drive with a code etched on its surface. Her father's handwriting was meticulous, almost playful, as if daring anyone else to understand it. He expected me to do this. She murmured. Victor nodded. He expected you to survive long enough to decode it. And now you are. Look carefully, every detail, every symbol, every micro-etching. It's a trail to the truth, and a trail to danger. The footsteps outside stopped abruptly. The air in the lab seemed to tighten, heavy with anticipation. Victor moved instinctively toward the door, pressing his back against the wall. They're testing us, he said, watching for weakness, waiting for a mistake. Lily's mind raced. Every hardship she had faced, sleeping in cold alleys, scavenging for scraps, avoiding the eyes of the world, now felt like preparation. Her survival instincts, honed for years, were suddenly weapons she had never realized she possessed. She touched the necklace, feeling the tiny cylinder press against her chest, and for the first time, she understood her father's work, his disappearance. The secrets in this wallet, it wasn't just about survival. It was about justice. Victor's voice cut through her thoughts, calm yet commanding. Are you ready to take the first step? Lily nodded, determination hardening in her eyes. I'm ready. Let them come. Victor gave a small, approving nod, his eyes scanning the shadows outside the lab. Good, but remember, in this game, one misstep can cost everything. We move smart. We move fast. And above all, we trust no one. The footsteps began again, slower this time, deliberate. Lily and Victor exchanged a glance, a silent acknowledgement that the chase had begun. The world outside remained oblivious, but the danger was closing in, and Lily Bennett, the homeless girl who had found a billionaire's missing wallet, was about to step fully into the legacy her father had left for her. Lily's fingers hovered over the encrypted drive. Every etched line, every microcode seemed to pulse under her touch, as if aware that someone was watching. Victor stood beside her, quiet but vigilant, his eyes scanning every shadow in the room. The faint hum of the lab's machinery now felt like a drumbeat, counting down to something inevitable. Do you see it? Victor asked softly, voice low. The code isn't just random. Your father, he embedded a pattern, a sequence only someone who truly understood him could decode. Lily nodded, tracing the lines on the metal strip with her fingertip. A memory came unbidden, her father bending over a tiny circuit board in the dim glow of a single lamp, whispering, one day, you'll see how the smallest details protect the biggest truths. She had laughed then, thinking it was nothing more than a game. Now, every micro-etching, every symbol carried weight beyond imagination. She started to decode the drive, each symbol clicking into place in her mind, revealing connections between contracts, engineering designs, and names of people who had silenced her father, names of people who would stop at nothing to bury the truth. Victor watched her, lips pressed together. Be careful. Once the wrong person realizes this has been accessed, they'll come for us. And they won't ask politely. A sudden noise, a door creak outside, made Lily's heart skip. She glanced toward the shadows, then back at the drive. Victor moved silently, his posture tense, every instinct alert. They're here, he whispered. They're closer than before. But don't panic. Follow the pattern. It's what your father wanted you to do. Lily's hands trembled slightly, but her mind sharpened. She had survived years on the streets, dodging danger, learning to read people, reading signs invisible to others. Those instincts now guided her fingers across the encrypted files. Each click brought a small revelation: embezzlement hidden in legitimate accounts, structural compromises in high-rise constructions, evidence of deliberate sabotage. A flashback hit her hard, her father holding her close during a stormy night, whispering, "Never let them think you are weak. Always see what they don't want you to see." The memory gave her strength. She felt a flicker of the same cunning he had nurtured in her without words, a legacy of survival and intelligence. Victor's voice broke through her focus. "They're testing our patience, trying to bait us into a mistake. Remember what I said, no missteps." Lily's eyes widened as she recognized a pattern, a name recurring across multiple documents, a shadowed figure controlling everything behind the scenes. Her pulse quickened. "Victor, I think I found the central player, the one who orchestrated my father's disappearance." Victor's jaw tightened. "Good. Now we know who to watch. But don't speak it aloud. They could be listening. The second they realize you're close, it's over." The footsteps outside shifted again, faster this time, deliberate and calculated. Lily felt her survival instinct spike, her mind tracing exits, shadows, possibilities. The city outside, oblivious to the storm closing in, continued its indifferent rhythm. Her hands shook, but her mind was precise. "I can do this," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. "I can finish what he started." Victor gave her a measured nod, eyes flicking toward the lab door. "Then do it, piece by piece. And remember, trust no one, not even your instincts entirely. Danger hides where you least expect it." A sudden shadow appeared at the edge of the doorway, a figure, tall, deliberate, watching them with unblinking eyes. Lily froze. Victor's hand moved toward his pocket, where a concealed device glimmered faintly. The first confrontation had begun. The world outside the lab remained unaware, but inside, the homeless girl who had found a billionaire's missing wallet was now a target, and the game of truth, survival, and legacy was turning deadly. The shadow at the edge of the doorway shifted, revealing a man in a tailored suit, his eyes hidden behind dark glasses, face expressionless. Lily instinctively took a step back, clutching the necklace as if it could shield her. Victor's stance hardened, every muscle coiled like a spring ready to strike. "Victor Hale," the man said, voice calm, almost amused. "I should have known you'd be meddling where you don't belong." Victor's jaw tightened. "And I should have expected someone like you to follow the breadcrumbs my father left behind." "Who sent you?" The man's lips curved into a faint smirk. "The same people who decided your friend here was expendable. Daniel Bennett was a threat, and now his daughter is. Inconvenient." His gaze flicked to Lily. "You've been playing in shadows your whole life, little girl. But shadows can't protect you forever." Lily's chest tightened. Memories of her father's warnings surged forward, late nights, whispered codes, instructions to stay unseen, to survive, to observe. "Never let them see you as ordinary." She heard him say again, clearer than ever. She realized now it had been preparation, not paranoia. Victor's hand brushed hers, steadying her. "Don't speak, don't move until I signal. Watch, learn, survive." Lily swallowed hard, her mind racing. Years on the streets had taught her to read people, to anticipate danger. She noticed the man's subtle shift of weight, the glint of a device at his belt, the slight twitch of impatience in his posture. Her father's lessons echoed. Small details protect the biggest truths. The man moved closer, deliberately, almost casually, but his presence filled the room with an invisible pressure. "I don't like surprises," he said, "especially not from ghosts of the past." Victor's voice was calm, but sharp. "You don't know the half of it. The moment you underestimate her, you'll regret it." Flicker of anger crossed Lily's mind, not fear, but recognition of the injustice done to her father, to herself. Memories of nights alone, of hunger, of survival, collided with the sudden knowledge of the dangerous web her father had left her to navigate. She tightened her grip on the necklace, the small cylinder pressing into her palm. Victor's eyes caught hers. Now, in a blur of motion, he pressed a button on the table, triggering a small EMP pulse that disabled the man's electronic devices. The lights in the lab flickered, screens went dark, and for a moment, the suited intruder froze, off balance, confused. Lily's instincts took over. She ducked low, reaching for a heavy wrench on the table and swung it instinctively, striking the intruder's side. He staggered back, eyes widening in shock. "You're quick," he said, recovering, but there was a hint of unease in his voice. "But quick isn't enough." Lily's mind raced. Every escape route, every shadow, every detail Victor had taught her, collided with her father's lessons. Observe, survive, adapt. She pivoted, kicking a chair to block the doorway, buying them seconds. Victor moved to flank the intruder, his movements precise and lethal. A flashback hit Lily hard. Her father crouched beside a small, malfunctioning generator, whispering urgently, "If you can survive the trap, you can protect the truth. Never flinch, never underestimate the danger." She realized now that every hardship, every night alone, had been training her for this moment. The intruder's smirk faltered as he assessed them. 2 against 1. Clever. But even clever has limits. Victor's eyes narrowed. "And yet, here you are, guessing wrong, always." Lily felt a surge of clarity, a combination of fear, rage, and inherited cunning. She didn't just want to survive anymore. She wanted justice, for her father, for herself. The intruder lunged, and for a moment, the room became a blur of motion, metal clashing, tension spiking, and every heartbeat counting toward the inevitable reckoning. Outside, the city hummed indifferently, unaware that in a small lab tucked away from the world, the homeless girl who had found a billionaire's missing wallet was no longer a victim. She was a force, a legacy, and a spark that could ignite the truth her father had died protecting. The intruder lay sprawled on the floor, groaning, but Lily didn't pause. Her fingers moved with purpose over the encrypted drive, eyes scanning every line of code, every etched symbol, every hidden microfilm. Victor remained close, a silent guardian, scanning the room for any further threats. The faint hum of the lab was now electric with tension. Lily's mind raced. Each symbol revealed fragments of her father's discoveries, embezzled funds, compromised structures, hidden alliances. But one pattern caught her attention. A repeated symbol she hadn't seen before, deeper, more complex, almost like a signature. Her father's meticulous handwriting accompanied it, tiny and deliberate. A flashback hit her hard. Daniel Bennett kneeling by her bed, whispering as he fastened the necklace around her neck, "The most dangerous truths are the ones that hide in plain sight. One day, you'll understand why you must be the only one to see them." Lily felt the weight of those words press into her chest. She had always thought they were warnings. Now, they were instructions. Victor's voice broke through her thoughts. "What is it?" Lily pointed to the symbol. This is more than codes. It's a blueprint. A plan." He wasn't just exposing corruption. He was protecting someone. Or something. Victor's brow furrowed. Someone alive. Or something invaluable. Could it be a person he hid? A whistleblower? Or the proof itself? A sudden metallic click echoed behind them. Lily and Victor froze. The intruder had recovered, his movements slow but deliberate. "You think you've won?" he sneered, attempting to reach the drive. Lily's instincts kicked in. She grabbed a small cylindrical device from the table, one of her father's failsafe gadgets, and pressed it. A burst of light flashed, temporarily blinding the intruder. "Run!" Victor barked. They dashed to a side exit Victor had scouted earlier, the narrow alleyways offering temporary cover. Lily's mind reeled with every step. The microfilm, the drive, the symbols, they were all pieces of her father's legacy, each more dangerous than the last dot as they paused in a shadowed corner. Lily's hand still pressed to the necklace. She whispered, "Victor, he didn't just hide information. He predicted this. He knew they would come, and he built traps, layers of protection. And somehow, he trusted me to survive it." Victor nodded, eyes scanning the alley. "That's why he was careful. That's why he disappeared. This isn't just legacy. This is warfare. Intellectual warfare. And your father. He fought it alone until now." A new memory surged forward. Lily, as a small girl, watching her father draw a massive blueprint on the apartment wall, muttering numbers and lines she didn't understand. She had traced them with her fingers, laughing at the complexity, but now she realized it had been training. Every curve, every line, every pattern. Preparation for decoding the truth and surviving the men who would kill to bury it. Lily looked up at Victor. "We can't go back. Not now. We have to finish it. We have to find the core, the heart of what he was protecting." Victor's lips pressed into a hard line. "And when we do, everyone who thought they were untouchable will learn that Daniel Bennett underestimated his daughter at his peril." Suddenly, the alleyway seemed to narrow, to exposed. Shadows twisted unnaturally in the corners, and Lily realized with chilling clarity that this was only the beginning. The intruder wasn't just following them, he was part of a larger network. There were more waiting, watching, calculating. Lily tightened her grip on the necklace, the cylinder pressing into her palm like a heartbeat. "I know now," she whispered to herself. "I am ready to see everything, to uncover it all, no matter what they throw at me." Victor's eyes softened briefly, admiration and concern mixed in their depths. "Your father's faith in you, it was never blind, and now, it will guide us. But remember, the closer we get, the more dangerous it becomes. Some truths can destroy lives." A distant siren wailed, echoing through the city streets. Lily felt the weight of history pressing down on her father's secrets, the threat of unseen enemies, and the responsibility of the most dangerous truths she had ever encountered. She was no longer just a girl who had found a billionaire's missing wallet. She was the keeper of a legacy powerful enough to change everything. Perfect. Here's scene 10, the climactic finale. It's cinematic, suspenseful, emotional, and resolves the story while delivering the full promise of the title. Logic gaps are patched, foreshadowing is paid off, and character arcs conclude powerfully. The city skyline stretched above them like a glittering labyrinth, indifferent to the storm of secrets unraveling below. Lily clutched the wallet tightly, the necklace pressing against her chest as if her father's presence pulsed through it. Victor led her through the final stretch of alleyways to an abandoned warehouse, one of the few places her father had considered safe. Inside, the space was vast and echoing, metal beams crisscrossing shadows that seemed to shift with every step. The intruder from before was already there, but this time he wasn't alone. 3 more figures emerged from the darkness, their eyes cold, calculating, their presence suffocating. The truth Lily had pieced together in scene 9 had led her straight into the lion's den. "Impressive," the lead intruder said, stepping forward. "You've survived more than anyone could have expected. But the game ends here." Victor's hand brushed against a concealed panel in the wall, activating a security override that flickered lights and triggered the building's internal defenses. "No," he said steadily. "The game only ends when we decide it does." Lily's gaze fell on the wallet, the microfilm, the encrypted drive. Every clue, every hidden symbol, every trap her father had built was converging here. She realized that the most dangerous truths were not just the documents, they were the people who would kill to bury them. Her pulse quickened. "Why did he leave all this to me?" Lily whispered to Victor, almost to herself. Memories of her father teaching her patience, observation, survival, and calculation flashed vividly, nights on the streets unknowingly training her, hours decoding puzzles with him, and the whispered instructions, "One day, you'll understand. One day, it will be your choice to reveal the truth." Victor's voice was calm, a steady anchor in the chaos, because he knew you were the only one who could survive it, and the only one who could finish it. You inherited more than survival, Lily. You inherited strategy, courage, and justice. The intruders advanced, but Lily moved with precision, guided by instinct and training. Using a combination of quick thinking, her father's gadgets, and improvised barricades, she outmaneuvered the first 2, forcing them into a corner where Victor neutralized them. Every step was deliberate, a dance of intelligence and survival. Her attention returned to the encrypted drive. One final piece remained, the core truth, hidden deeper than anything she had seen. Lily inserted it into a small terminal Victor had prepared. The holographic projections unfolded, revealing financial manipulations, structural compromises, and evidence linking the intruders directly to her father's disappearance. Lily's eyes widened. It's all here. He was protecting lives. He exposed them, and now we can finish it." The intruder leader lunged, but Lily anticipated the move, pressing the necklace's cylinder against a panel in the floor. A hidden trapdoor opened beneath him, sending him sliding into a containment chamber Victor had rigged. He glared up, stunned, while Lily held the wallet aloft, the weight of her father's legacy tangible in her hands. A wave of relief and triumph surged through her. She was no longer a homeless girl. She was the custodian of truth, justice, and power. Every hardship, every flashback of struggle, every lesson from her father had culminated here. Victor placed a hand on her shoulder. "You've done it, Lily. You've survived them all. And now, you control the narrative. You control the legacy." Outside, the city continued its oblivious hum. But inside the warehouse, a billionaire's hidden secrets had been uncovered, and a girl who once had nothing had rewritten her destiny. The wallet, once lost, had transformed her life, revealing courage, intelligence, and an unbreakable spirit. Lily looked at Victor, eyes shining. I understand now. Why he trusted me, why he left it all for me, and why no one expected me to rise from nothing to this. Victor nodded, a rare smile breaking through his usual composure. The world underestimated you. But never again. The intruders were secured, the secrets revealed, and Lily Bennett, the girl who had found a billionaire's missing wallet, stepped into a future she had forged herself, fearless, intelligent, and unstoppable.